Hey friends, what's up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is TATIANNAANESA. If you are a returning subscriber, what is up? You already know by the title what today's video is gonna be all about. It is about blushes. And if you're new here, blush is my favorite step in my makeup routine. It brings the vision to life and I love it. So with that being said, there has been so many new blush releases this year that I am just loving it all. But I also know that it can be kind of overwhelming. So today's video is gonna be basically a ton of speed reviews all about blushes, all about the new blushes I've tried, whether they're worth your money or if it's something you can skip over. I'm gonna share my thoughts on these blushes. So grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's dive into all of these blushes. Let's start off with a very popular blush formula, but I truly feel like this is one of the best blushes I've tried this year. We're starting off with a bang. I'm not playing no games. So the first blush I want to share my thoughts on is the Haus Labs powder blushes. I personally think the rebrand from Haus Labs is the best thing they could have ever done because we are getting quality products, innovation, the formulas, everything. This is such a beautiful blush formula. The hype is definitely real. I have 3 shades of these blushes, which says a lot. That's how you know that I really like a product, is when I have multiples, because this is not a cheap blush. This is a very expensive blush. I feel like if you were to go and buy one of these blushes, you'd know that the quality is in the formula, it's in the packaging. You're getting the experience. I just feel like you're just getting the whole works with these blushes. Now, the formula on this is so beautiful. It is a creamy powder. I say that all the time, but that's literally how I can describe it. If you were to just like swatch this, it just feels creamy. It does not feel like a powder at all, but it is a powder. It is very pigmented, but it's not pigmented to where you can't blend it out. It's such a beautiful blush formula. It's one of the blushes in my collection that I reach for the most. Next blush is from the brand Make Beauty. I just got these not too long ago, but I've been testing them out every single day since then because I really wanted to include these in this video. So I am wearing the shade Fuchsia Flush right now on my cheeks. I love these blushes because they are the perfect everyday blushes. The shade range on these blushes, beautiful. There's 10 different shades in this line, which I love. They are talc free. They have a refillable compact. Everything about this is just perfect. So I really like these because these are a buildable blush. Though this might look like a super bright pink, you don't get really intense pigment when you first apply it, but your second layer, you're there. I just love how this looks because some days I want a bright pink, but I don't want something too intense, but I still want it to show up. And I've been getting that with these blushes. I have been reaching for these for my everyday makeup look because they are perfect for every day. If you just want something quick, you're out the door. And they are called the Skin Mimetic Micro Suede Blush. And I feel like that's the perfect name for these because it really is like a skin-like everyday blush. This shade right here is called Crimson Sky, gorgeous red. Also picked up this right here, Fuchsia Flush. It is a purple powder blush. We don't see too many purple powder blushes. So when I tell you the shades in this range, the shades are perfect. Like there's just so many unique and different shades. You're bound to find your favorite shade to choose from. I also picked up the shade Vivid Dream, which is a really bright orange. Gorgeous. Love these blushes. And I do definitely think you should check out the brand Make Beauty. I did pick out like a bronzer from them. I am wearing the bronzer today and I love it. Like I'm loving this brand, so I will be checking out more of their products. Next blushes I want to talk about are the Sephora collection blushes. Now, I picked up 2 shades. I picked up the shade Hey Jealousy and the shade Over the Top. Now, Hey Jealousy is a really pretty shade. It's like a berry tone pink. I really like the shade. I feel like on the first go around, you get the pigment that you want, but I don't feel that way about this shade Over the Top. I feel like Over the Top is, I don't really recommend this shade if you're like my skin tone or deeper. You would think that the shade would show up, but it does not show up well. I feel like I have to put like 6 layers to get this to show up, and who wants to do that? Who wants to take the time out and put 6 layers of blush on just to get a little bit of pigment? So I don't really recommend this shade if you're my skin tone or deeper. I just feel like it's pretty lackluster. It is a very powdery formula. Is this the best blush formula I've ever tried? Absolutely not, but for the price, which is like $14, it's a blush, you know, it's a cheap blush. If you're looking for an alternative and if you really do want to try this blush out, I would definitely recommend Hey Jealousy because it will show up on you. You don't have to work super hard to get the pigment. Like, look at that. Beautiful. It's really beautiful, but it kind of has like a chalky texture. And when I say chalky, I don't mean like ashy, at least for this shade, but it's like more of a drier blush. So take that with what you will. The more that I use these, the more that I'm like, okay, like, I mean, they're $14, but like there are other drugstore blushes that are like around 14 or less that give off a better quality. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on those. I don't find myself wanting to reach for them, but I do reach for them just so I can, you know, have my formulated thoughts whenever I share them with you guys. But yeah, so definitely take that with what you will. It is reformulated, so who knows if the OG formula was better than this one. So next blush are these right here from Uma Beauty. These are the Double Take Skin Perfecting Blush Duo. So Uma sent these over to me to try, and I have two shades. I have Brown Sugar and Bronze Venus. Now these are a duo of blushes. You get a powder blush and then you get a shimmery blush on the opposite side. I really like the shimmer blush on these. I feel like they're not glittery, they're not super metallic. They kind of give like a soft glow to the cheeks and a really beautiful sheen. So I really love the blush toppers. I find myself reaching for the blush toppers more than the blushes. I do feel like these blushes are ones that you really do have to build it up to get the pigments. You get two products for the price of one, which is really nice. This is something that you like. I don't feel like you'll be disappointed with these. So moving right along to liquid blushes. These next blushes are probably one of the most pigmented blushes I have ever tried, and I've tried a lot of blushes. We all know that, but these are from Juvia's Place. These are their new liquid blushes. These blushes took the internet by storm. I feel like so many people have talked about these, reviewed these, and it is no surprise that if you've seen reviews on these, you know how pigmented these are. So I don't personally recommend these to beginners just because of how much pigment there are with these. I feel like even if you think that you're going in with a little bit, it still like blends out to be a lot, like more than expected. But I find myself not reaching for these as much, not because it's a bad formula or anything. It's just because I want to know that if I put on a blush, it's going to be the perfect amount, or like I know I won't have to work with it. But I feel like the shades that they chose for these are so beautiful. They're so different. You don't really see a lot of brands coming out with shades that look like this. So I really love the shades of these. And of course, whenever I have a look that really calls for one of these tones, I'll reach for it. I will make sure to link my review video down below so you can see swatches and all of that. And if you're not familiar with these, you can see how they blend out and how to work with them. If you pick these up, the best way to work with these is putting some on the back of your hand and then working with your brush off the back of your hand and then apply it to the face rather than just taking a dot and putting it directly on the face. That would be too much. Next blush formula I had to talk about are these right here. This is from Danessa Myricks. This is her Yummy Skin blushes. Now, this is also in my top 10 favorite products of 2023. Danessa killed it with this blush formula. This is a cream to powder blush formula. The shades are so pigmented but so buttery and so blendable. My favorite way to apply these is with a sponge because I feel like I have more control over it and I like that it just melts into the skin. I highly recommend these blushes. I'm not kidding when I say this is one of the best blush formulas ever. And if you are a fan of more like cream or liquid blushes, this right here you cannot go wrong with. There are so many beautiful shades in the line. If you feel like these shades are too bright for you, there are like more subtle shades or more everyday shades. But me personally, I'm living for these. My favorite shade out of the ones that I own is Dancing Queen. It is such a beautiful like berry blush, but it has the perfect amount of purple and the perfect amount of pink. I find myself reaching for this all the time and I'm just so obsessed with it. These are gorgeous. I'm also gonna make sure my review video is down below so you can check these out, but I love those blushes so much. Those blushes and the House Lab blushes are two blushes that I recommend trying because once you get one of the blushes, you're gonna keep going back for more shades. Trust me, because it happened to me. This blush right here, the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Matte Beauty Blush Wand. Now, this is the most expensive blush I'm going to be talking about in today's video. I remember when this blush was first teased, people were so excited for. I definitely get it. You know, Charlotte Tilbury has some really beautiful formulas. So beautiful that a lot of people are also trying to dupe the brand. So yeah, but I will say this is the blush you do not need to run out and buy. This has been out for a couple of months now, and if you haven't bought it yet, like, you're not really missing out on anything. But don't get me wrong, if you love to splurge or if you love Charlotte Tilbury, this is a really beautiful blush formula. But for the price and the formula, I feel like there are cheaper alternatives that you can get a similar effect, similar look, similar finish. So, you know, it's beautiful. I really do like it, but it's like a $42 blush. So there are other blushes I have talked about in this video that I would recommend more than this one. But like I said, if you like to splurge, or if you just really love the shade, or if you really love Charlotte Tilbury, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this particular shade. This is the shade Dream Pop. It's beautiful. And I find that if you have a lighter skin tone or a deeper skin tone, it works beautifully on both. And I find that people love this shade the most out of all of them. So. Too Faced Cloud Crush blush in the shade Watermelon Rain. So stunning. So this is the blush that got me into pink blushes. Last year in 2022, I was not a pink blush lover. I did not like a pink blush, but when I tried this one, that completely changed for me. I love this blush formula so much. I really, really, really want to see more shades. This is basically like a blurring blush, and I really do agree with that, because when you put it on, it kind of looks airbrushed, which is so weird. Like, I was like, is it really gonna show up like that? But no, it really, really does. And I absolutely love this blush. The packaging is beautiful. It feels luxe, and I love this formula. The pigment on this blush, insane. I've raved about it. I've talked about it a lot. This will work on a ton of skin tones. This shade is my favorite in particular. There are other shades in the line, but I really do love this blush formula. It is such a beautiful, beautiful formula. One more blush to talk about in this video, and it is the Jaclyn Cosmetics liquid blushes. So I have some thoughts on these, because I tried the red shade first and I really, really loved it. It blends out to a soft matte finish. I feel like it's pigmented, but it's not as pigmented as the Juvia's Place. I loved the red shade so much that I then picked up the pink shade, and when I tell you, this pink shade literally is the best blush for combo blushes. It is so gorgeous. I got so many compliments. Every time I get the most compliments on my blush, whether it's like a TikTok video or a YouTube video, a lot of times it is because this is a part of the combo. Every time I travel, I will definitely be bringing this pink blush, because I love the fact that it's such a beautiful base for all the others. Now, I did try the berry tone, which is the shade Plush Berry, and I don't like this tone of berry. I feel like it kind of has like a brown undertone to it, which kind of looks like a bruise on me. I did not like this shade, but if I was gonna recommend shades, I would definitely look into the bright pink and the red one, because they're so beautiful. But I just think that the tone of this blush just, I don't know, I just feel like the tone of this berry blush just wasn't executed very well. I don't know if some people feel differently than me, but I just feel like there are certain berries that have, like, you know, a little bit more blue, a little bit more like pink. We have this one that has a lot of brown in it, so it kind of looks almost bruised. Whereas I don't have that problem with these two blushes from like Juvia's Place and Danessa Myricks. The formula is really nice. It does have a really beautiful soft matte finish to it. I don't really know if I see it blurring like I do the Too Faced, but I do love the dry down on this. It kind of has like a almost like powdery kind of dry down, which I think is why I really do love that blush formula. Well, that is it for my blush roundup video. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below. This was a speed video, so if you wanted to see like face swatches and like really, really, really in-depth, I have dedicated reviews on literally almost all of these. I'll try to link as many as I can down below if you wanted to see them applied to the face. But definitely let me know your thoughts down below, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.